Deep behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9 in Las Vegas, Nevada, here's your host, Matt Maldonado, on Madness4life News. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Maldonado here in FEMA Region 9, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the podcast version of the show. This is Madness4life News, podcast number 14. It is July 9th, the Monday edition. I was trying to do the Sunday edition, but for some reason the sound was horrible in the middle of the clip. So hopefully this sound is, what you're hearing is very good. We are going to be talking about the 25 signs the collapse of America is speeding up as society rots from the inside out. Of course, this is from an article by Michael Snyder, The Economic Collapse. I love that that website. Actually gives you very good information, very good breakdowns. And I'll tell you, the reason why that this country is actually going as hell in a handbasket is because of the gangster culture, the way that they put tariffs and taxes on people, NAFTA and GATT, shipping the jobs overseas, arresting protesters, cops dress up like anarchists, burn down hotels. Just a total degeneration of this culture and the society and the country. But hey, this is what happens when you don't stand up for liberty and freedom, and your culture will turn into North Korea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Uganda. Actually, Egypt and Libya, as well as Syria, with the terrorist groups of Al-Qaeda, even though there's other people that are actually standing against Al-Qaeda. But hey, it's not patriotic to not like Al-Qaeda. So, if anybody's ever read a map where, I bet you most people don't even know where Uganda is on a map, because, hey, we got to go get Coney, and we have no clue where Uganda is on this map. So let me just... Yeah, because everybody has to buy into that kind of propaganda and not read about the fact that Musafin is actually more brutal than... Coney. Well, Coney is a creep, but yet again, the dictator over there is actually more ruthless than Coney, because Musafin was the first person in Uganda to actually do the children resistance army, taking children and actually making his army out, but that's still a side issue. So let's just get into this article right now. In the start of it, by Michael Schneider, Infowars.com picked this up at the economic collapse. You can actually click the link over there and it goes right to it. But let's get into this. The problems that America is expressing right now are not just confined to the field of economics. The truth is that there are signs of deep decay wherever we look, and without question, the United States is rotting from the inside out in thousands of different areas. Actually, different ways, my bad. That's right, because we're going to ship the jobs overseas, and we're going to make sure that your cities and infrastructures won't be paid off, the bridges won't be fixed, and we're going to ship those that money into foreign banks, because the foreign banks run us, and it's going to be fine. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. That's what I do on the podcast, to be sarcastic, because hey, we always have thit's un-American to stand up against evil. It is not of the Lord to stand up against America, even though that there's courage and response teams spying on you all day and telling you to give up your guns. But hey, that's okay. But side issue, let's head over here. All right. Hopefully the sound that you're hearing is okay, because for some reason at 18 minutes it was like going haywire. Let's hope it's going to stay this good. Continuing here, for a long time, our debt-fueled prosperity has masked much of the social decay that has been festering underneath the surface. But now it is becoming increasingly apparent that the thin veneer of civilization that we all take for granted is beginning to disappear, just like in Rome and just like in Greece. If anybody's ever read their history, they would understand that this is what happens when you have an empire and you shy away from your liberties and your republic. You start to see the society start to fall, and you start to see the country start to fall. Then you see a different look into what the country's going to turn into. It's going to turn into Liberia, Sierra Leone, and North Korea. Oh yes, more poverty, more people out of work, more people out of homes, more unstable homes, more people getting into divorces, more people not getting children, not having children and stuff like that. Nobody having families and stuff like that, because they say it's too expensive, when really it actually could be the cheapest thing in the world. But hey, that's okay. For many Americans, I'm continuing here. Americans it easy to point a finger at a practical particular group or political party and blame them for all of our problems. But the reality of... Hold on. Somebody calling me? No, no one's calling me right now. Alright. Or political party and blame them for all of our problems. But the reality of the matter is that our sociality decline cuts across all income levels, all political affiliations, and all regions of the country. We are being destroyed from within, and this decay can be seen on the streets of the most different sections of major U.S. cities, and it can also be seen in the halls of power in Washington, D.C., and on Wall Street. It is undeniable that something has fundamentally changed. Fundamentally changed. There we go. The American people did not seem to process the same level of character that they once had. I'm sorry, I can't read, so I'm trying to read as best I can. So, continuing, so where do we go from here? The following are 25 signs the collapse of America is speeding up as society rots from the inside out. Number 1, homicide in Chicago are 38% ahead of where they were last year at this time. In fact, the Daily says that homicide victims in the Windy City outnumber U.S. troops killed in Afghanistan this year. Things are taking a turn for the worse in our major U.S. cities as well. Just check out the carnage that happened in New York City this past Friday night. Across barely 8 hours, at least 7 New Yorkers were murdered, and other 21 shot, stabbed, or slashed across the city, with only 3 suspects arrested before the blood stopped flowing. Of course, this is what happens when you continually say people can't have guns and protect themselves. This is what happens when you when the cops literally give guns to gangs and literally make sure that the gangs flow rapidly throughout our major cities. They did the same thing with Mexico. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but they've been doing this as well as the FBI and the CIA, giving guns to gangs to increase the level of gangs in the cities, as well as tell people, listen, you're not going to buy a gun. Why not? We need to protect ourselves. Doesn't matter. You're not going to buy a gun. If you buy a gun, you're not going to get a job. Okay. And then that's why people have been getting killed, being set on fire. In this article, I was talking about women getting set on fire, which I'm going to get into shortly. And it's just going to keep continuing to get worse and worse and worse. Number 2, speaking of New York City, a teacher there recently posted the following on her Facebook page. Was it Carpy and I survived a shootout today. Thank God we were okay. To all the wannabe gangsters of Staten Island who say they are from Brooklyn but really aren't. Be careful what you have, what you have, and stop trying to live a lifestyle you will never understand. About a week later, her husband discovered her dead in a pool of her own blood in their apartment. She had been stabbed numerous times. I have nothing to say about this one because that's pretty crazy. And it's just about to get worse. Number 3. Reporter James Carlini recently discussed the growing problems that roaming gangs of youths are causing along the Mischief Mile in Chicago. There is an increase in problems at night with small gangs roaming around looking for the right prey. Like I said again, this is what happens when you don't have a weapon and you can't protect yourself. If you allow people to actually have guns and allow them to get the ones that they need, they will protect themselves. Yes, they still have crime, but yet again, if you had a gun or a weapon, the crime would decrease, and this has happened before. Statistics show that people with more weapons actually protect themselves better. But hey, I'm digressing. I'm also trying to breathe here. Don't bother looking for any cops. They are few and far between. Little preform from size pepper spray canisters may be in vogue. I don't know. Politically correct and fit in a but they are not practical. Forget about pepper spray. You need a gallon jug of it. Basically, what you would need is bear mace. Bear mace is huge, and that wouldn't be enough because there are like swarms of gangs everywhere in Chicago. To stop 7 or 6 assailants. Do you now need a 357 Magnum to walk down the Meg Mile? Maybe a compact 45 or a high caliber 9mm, just to be on the safe side. Is more what you should have. Even the police are telling each other that they better carry large caliber or off duty and not be caught unarmed. Oh yeah, the cops can have a gun, but you can't have one. Because how dare you protect yourself? Continuing here, number 4. You want to hear Ultra Bizarro? Here it comes. Down in Florida, a lifeguard named Thomas Lopez. I actually talked about this on the vodcast, actually, and that for some reason hasn't gone up yet. Well, because we're still figuring out the footage, but side issue. Thomas Lopez was recently fired for attempting to save a man that was drowning outside his patrol zone. Of course, because how dare you try to protect and help and actually do your job and actually help out people when they were drowning. Hey, how dare you? Lopez, 21, was hired by Jeff Else Management to monitor and patrol portion of a public beach. A portion of a public beach. Monitor a portion of a public beach in Handale Beach, Florida. The company allegedly gave Lopez strict instructions to stay inside his patrol zone. ABC News reports, but when Lopez spotted a man in distress outside his patrol zone Monday afternoon, he ignored those instructions and leaped into action. By the time lifeguard Thomas Lopez got to the man, other bystanders had already pulled him to shore. These South Florida Sun Sentinel reports Lopez stayed within the man until paramedics arrived. That violated act valiant act was Lopez's last as a lifeguard, as his employer fired him for straying 1,500 feet outside his patrol zone. because you got to just sit there and just not do anything as people drown to death. And just watch them. And maybe just take pictures, as this culture's all about. Hey, they're dying. Hey, we need to take this great picture. This is a great picture to take. Oh, and just wait, there's more. Number 5. Authorities say that thieves are stealing identities and filing fraudulent tax returns on a scale never seen before. With nothing more than ledgers of stolen identity information. It's reaching 18 minutes. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Continuing here, Social Security numbers and their corresponding names. Corresponding names. Sorry, and birth dates. Criminals have electronically filed thousands of false tax returns. With made-up incomes and withholding information, and have received hundreds of millions of dollars in wrongful refunds. Because, hey, nothing says you're a great American by doing fraudulent tax returns. Even though those taxes are going to the foreign banks, but hey, that's okay, because the foreign banks will just pay anybody. Hey, and don't worry, they're not going to go after those criminals. They're just going to go after the law-abiding citizens. Continuing here, law enforcement officials say the criminals, some of them former drug dealers, outwit the Internal Revenue Service by filing a return before the legitimate taxpayer files. Then the criminals receive the refund, sometimes by check, but more often through a convent, but hard to trace prepaid debit card. In all, the IRS says that there were approximately 940,000 fake tax returns filed for 2010. Because now, even though that those people have made those false tax returns, they're going to basically arrest those that don't pay health care. Basically. But hey, that's okay, because we love criminals. Criminals are good. Being sarcastic again. Number 6, U.S. Secret Service agents are suspected to be the best of the best and charged with guarding our top. Are charged with guarding our top political officials, but even they have exhibited a consistent pattern of moral decay for many years, according to one recent report. Secret Service agents and officers have been accused of leaking significant sensitive information, publishing porn, sexual assaults, legal wiretapping, embezzlement, and drunkenness on duty, according to a 229 paper log released yesterday after a prostitution scandal in April, when agents consulted with hookers while preparing for Obama's arrival in Cuba. Yeah, because nothing says I gotta get prepared by, I gotta have sex with a prostitute. And it's it's a good thing it's American. And, it's, even though I had a wife, but hey, doesn't matter. Mark's Sylvian apologized, but he said it was an isolated case, not a systematic issue, because hey, it's not an issue, even though that's immoral. But that's all right. Hey, it is of the Lord to be immoral. Just ultra bizarro. However, the log which the Secret Service released yesterday after news organizations requested it under the Freedom of Information Act shows a pattern of misdeeds dating back to 2003. Number 7. These days, thieves will steal just about anything that isn't bolted down and that they can sell for money. For example, 3 thieves recently broke into a Chicago beauty shop, supply store, beauty supply store, and took off with hair extensions that were worth a total of $230,000. And they probably sold on the black market, and they couldn't really fix the extensions, and it was probably all dirty. Anyway, continuing here. Number 8. Up in Minnesota, thieves are stealing brass stars from hundreds of military graves. Yeah, because nothing says how good I am than stealing from graves. Oh yes, desecrating graves and desecrating churches. As this continues, and down in Fresno, California, thieves have actually been stealing metal crosses from churches. Yes, because we love desecrating churches and graves. Yes, that's why we love John Lennon, don't we? Oh yeah, he did the same thing. He didn't steal crosses, but he desecrated churches and peed on nuns and all those sorts of things. But he was good. He was good. He was protesting and stuff like that, even though Yoko Ono was a freaking nutcase. But hey, that's okay. Because who has morality, right? Who needs it? Hey, because Rome never had morality. Oh, yeah, actually they did, but yet they lost it because of the way that the empire was running it. Like the emperors, like Nero, Caligula, Julius Caesar, even Pompey. I mean, these people were insane. And America's just going to get crazier. Even when Mitt Romney gets in, it's going to be more crazy than Mitt Romney dressing up as a police crazy. And having a fake police car. But hey, that's all right. It's continuing here. According to one shocking new report, 1 out of every 10 Wall Street employees is a critical psychopath that is a rate about 10 times higher than the general population. That's actually no debate. That's actually pretty true. Number 10. Even many police are going crazy these days. Over in Seattle, police zapped a pregnant woman with a taser 3 times just because she refused to sign a ticket. That's right, because, hey, we want to just zap you and your child, and it doesn't matter if it's actually going to critically kill your child. It doesn't matter. We're going to zap you, and it's safe. We're just going to say it's safe, even though there's actually doctors out there that says it isn't safe. All right. Because, hey, we want to see cops on power trips. We want to see the culture degenerate. We want people to adapt from the gangster culture because it's good. It's good. Yeah, if you want to see the degeneration of your culture, just go to Las Vegas, all right? Not that hard to see the degeneration of your culture is to go down there. Men wearing dresses everywhere, women looking like whores all around me. It is just weird. I mean, men acting like adult children everywhere. It is, it's just really weird. And every single dude asking you, hey man, you want to go to a strip club and see a bunch of whores? Can you get out of my face? No, it doesn't matter. I mean, like 5, like there was like at one time 8 of these guys asking people. There'll be times there'll be like 5 at one time just to go to a club, and I bet you nobody goes to them. But hey, that's all right. Let's continue, shall we? Where am I at? I just lost my place. good. Number 11. Down in California, one man recently sliced off the ear of another man with a knife over an unpaid debt. Yes, because he thought he was Van Gogh. No, that was a horrible joke. Number 12, these days we are seeing senseless crimes being committed even in small towns in the heartland of America. Just check out what happened in Helena, Montana about a week ago. Helena police are working to identify two young men after what they call a random act of violence over the weekend. Helena police found a 40-year-old homeless man badly beaten in an alleyway behind the Gold Bar around 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Helena Police Detective Sergeant Richard Drysdale states... the video shows two white males surrounding the victim as he was entering the walkway, yelling at him and then knocking him down to the ground, where they beat and kicked him until he was unconscious. You can find a video report about this incident right here. It's actually a link right there. There's actually two links at this spot. There's tons of links on this article. I have no idea why people don't go to the links, but there's tons of links to back up these reports. That's okay. Number 13. One town in Connecticut was forced to shut down a beautiful new public fountain because too many people were using it as a toilet. Yes, because we don't know what a toilet means, so we're going to literally go to the bathroom literally in a fountain or in a waterfall or in a or in the pool. But hey, all the trendies will say, this is good for you. Really? Interesting. (14) According to one very shocking study, the percentage of U.S. households that contain a married couple with children has fallen from 44.3% in 1960 to 20.2% today. 15, a huge brawl between parents erupted during a recent preschool graduation ceremony down in the Los Angeles area. 16, we continue to see mob robberies at retail establishments all over the nation. During one recent mob robbery in Detroit, thugs beat the living daylights out of one very unfortunate stock clerk. Yeah, and these guys were like 5, 6 people against one dude for no reason. The guy threw glass at him. You can actually click the link and see that the fight on there. It's really ridiculous. But hey, we like to see the degeneration of our thing. We love to see fights too. Like I saw the fight at Beauty Bar. It's just for no reason. This black dude just hits the white guy for no reason. They're just brawling for nothing. And I just stood there watching it, going really, this is how it's going to be. And then you're probably going to say, why didn't you break it up? Well, first of all, actually, you're right. Why didn't I break it up? But yet, it had nothing to do with me and the fact that I would probably be punched out as I'm trying to break it all up, and I'm just an innocent bystander. But they're already breaking up anyway. It didn't last that long because of other security guards next to the Griffin. But hey, that's another issue again. 17, speaking of Detroit, nobody is immune to the spreading violence in that city. For example, just to check out what happened recently to a 22-year-old pregnant woman. A 22-year-old pregnant woman survived after being bound, driven to Detroit, set on fire, and shot earlier Saturday morning. The woman, who was 9 months pregnant, oh yes, 9 months pregnant, had returned from a movie with her boyfriend and dropped him off at his house in Warren, When she was approached from behind, Warren Police Sergeant David Grifford said the woman's hands, feet, and eyes were bound with duct tape. She was then forced into her car and driven to an unknown place in Detroit, where she was doused in lighter fluid, set on fire, and shot once in the upper back, he said. But hey, you're not supposed to get upset about that. No, we don't want to hear it. Well, you're going to hear it anyway, because it's going to happen to you. Oh, it's going to come. And we're going to love North Korea. We're going to love going in FEMA camps and going lining up and getting shot in the back of the head and being in large graves. And it's going to be fun. So, just got to deal with it. Anyway, hold on, I'm going to fix my headphones here. For some reason, it's not. I messed them up. Test. Okay. Many families returned to their homes following a recent wildfire in Colorado, only to discover that their houses had been robbed and looted. And I bet you that they probably took most of their guns, haven't they? And it was the police or FEMA. Homeland Security? Maybe. 19, one 30-year-old art teacher in Arizona was not satisfied with only having sex with one of her students. In fact, police had charged her with having sex with 4 of her male students. And making, I bet you most of the people will actually look at her picture and go, you know what, she was hot, so it makes it okay. Really? It makes it okay? The children were like, 12, 13 years old? Yeah. Welcome to the degeneration of our culture. Everybody is a bunch of degenerates all around me. But hey, that's okay. 20 down in Florida, one man has actually been charged with biting the lips off of a kitten. Now that's pretty strange, because I have no idea why that dude did that. I should go to the article. How much more time do I have? Actually, I have loads of time, because I'm going to do an hour show here. Let me see what this dude actually did. This is a Click Orland. This is from Local 6, the WKMG Local 6 in Orland. A Palm Coast man was arrested on suspicion of biting the lips off of a kitten and strangling another cat. Angel Vague Roman, 28, was arrested Saturday and charged with cruelty to animals. According to the county sheriff's office, Roman told in was it I don't know what that word is, that he essentially choked his roommate's kitten and a couple weeks ago and ripped the lips off another black and white kitten named Oreo. Roman also tortured Oreo by burning its ear and whiskers with a lighter, a sheriff's report stated. Whoa. You talk about insanity. Now that's crazy. You want to torture somebody to death, man? Even an animal? God doesn't really like that. But hey, we don't want to believe in God. Heaven forbid. Because it is none of the Lord to say that people that deserve to be burned to death and being ripped apart, you can't say that at all. Can't say that about evil people. Yeah, heaven forbid. Deputies went to a home on Barton Place last week and spoke with Roman, who said he tortured the kittens because he was been depressed since his girlfriend is gone, according to the sheriff's report. Really? So because of your girlfriend's gun, you're going to be killing cats? Really? Torturing a cat? Just because my girlfriend's gun, I'm gonna torture you. Because I love that cat. What? That is not an excuse to torture an animal. But hey, that's alright. If you wanted to torture somebody, why don't you do it to yourself, idiot? Roman was taken into protective custody. What for? Under a Barker Act. Roman Oreo was examined by a veterinarian who said the cat's injuries were consistent with statements Roman made to deputies. The sheriff's report says the kitten's owners voluntarily released custody of the kitten to the city, which is now responsible for medical expenses upwards of $300, according to the sheriff's report. Did you see this? The woman was later booked into the county where he remains on bail for $100,000. It's just going to get really weird. Wow. 21. Over in Waco, you know, the place that Janet Reno burned the children in that church, because we were trying to save the children from those terrorists, so we burned the children. What? That was in Waco. You can look that up. But hey, let's continue here. Waco, Texas, and a 22-year-old male recently strangled and ate the family dog while he was high on drugs, and it was bath salts. And everybody is always afraid of now bath salts. Well, just don't ingest them. Don't put them in your body, you idiots. Excuse me. Trying to drink here. Anyway, continuing here. 22. Of course, most of us have heard of the recent outbreak of zombie attacks around the nation, where criminals have actually been biting their victims and chewing their flesh. The following is another example of this phenomenon from a recent case in central New York City. A synthetic drug known as bath salts is blamed for some bizarre behavior in central New York. The Observer dispatched reports that police officers were called to Stanley's bar Saturday night to check out a woman described as emotionally disturbed. When an officer approached her, she lunged at him and tried to bite his face. Police say she screamed that she wanted to kill someone and eat them. The woman has taken to St. Luke's Memorial Hospital for a mental health evaluation. Another very disturbing zombie incident took place down in Georgia recently. Carl, 21, was believed to be high on bath salts when he tried to attack the officers in Georgia. After they had managed to subdue him, he began threatening to eat them. Carl appeared out of some woods and was seen running naked around a golf range near Atlanta, swinging a club around his head and screaming. Police said that it took several police officers to subdue the man who had superhuman strength. '23. All over America, people seem to be losing their minds. Check out what happened. Check out what one man in New Jersey did recently when police arrived at his home. Officers got a call that morning when a witness said Carter was threatened to harm himself with a knife. 2 cops responded, knocked in the door, and found Carter in the corner, the station reported. Carter allegedly ignored officers' orders to put down the knife and instead began stabbing himself in the abdomen, neck, and legs. In an attempt to pepper spray the blinding man, had no effect. The Associated Press reported that's when Carter disemboweled by responsive reportedly threw bits of his skin and intestines at the officers. 24. One woman in the St. Louis area was recently caught cooking meth in her purse inside a Walmart store. Had enough, America? It's almost done. 25. Anyone that believes that slavery has been abolished in America does not know that they are talking about every single night sex slaves are being horribly abused all over the United States. And by the way, the FBI have been involved. But hey, that's a side issue. And as well as UN and NATO, if you actually can look that up, which I have also the articles stating that they're a part of sex slavery. But hey, the following is from a recent Daily Mail article. The FBI has rescued 25 teens held against their will and forced into prostitution from hotels, truck stops, and stores during a 3-day swamp on sex trafficking rings across the country. The sex slaves were aged between 13 and 17, although one said she had been involved in prostitution since she was just 11, authorities say. During the sting operations across 57 cities, for some reason I thought that it meant 57 states because we don't have 57 states. Like Obama said, for some reason he visited 57 states, but that's a side issue. Including Atlanta, Sacramento, and Toledo, Ohio. 104 alleged pimps were arrested. And I bet you those pimps were basically released. But hey, those pimps were doing stuff illegally, but yet again, UN and NATO do things illegally, and FBI and the CIA do things illegally, but yet they don't get caught. Because it's legitimate. And it's good for the nation, isn't it? And those kids were basically from CPS. But hey, side issue again. It is estimated that 100,000 children were victims of prostitution and trafficking each year in the United States. Are you starting to get the picture? Sadly, there are dozens and dozens more examples like these. If you want to see more examples of how the collapse of America is speeding up, check out these articles that I, Michael Snyder, recently published. 70 Reasons to Mourn for America. 20 signs that society is breaking down and that America has been overrun by psychos. The frightening thing is that this breakdown of our society is happening at the same time that our economy is completely falling to pieces. And nobody's going to do about it until they're in FEMA camps. But hey, that's okay. Because we will line up and we will salute them as they shoot us in the back of the head and create massive graves. But that's okay. This economic decline that we are experiencing is shredding the middle class, and it is plaguing millions of Americans into very depressed circumstances. The following is a brief expert from a recent Rolling Stones article. Every night around 9, was it Janice Enclins falls asleep in the back of her Toyota Sierra van in a church parking lot at the edge of Santa Barbara, California. On the van's roof is a black space booster full of previous life belongings, like a snorkel and fins and camping gear. Atkins, who is 56 years old, parks the van at the lot's remotest corner, linging its side with a row of dense shading. I can't even say that. Some trees. The trees provide privacy, but they are also useful because she can pick their fallen fruit, and she doesn't always have enough to eat. Oh, and by the way, for her picking those fruits, she might get arrested because the cops say that's a no-no. But thank goodness she's getting something to eat. Despite a continuous 2-year job search, she remains without dependable work. She says she doesn't need to eat much. If she gets a decent hot meal in the morning, she can get by for the rest of the day on a piece of fruit or bulk purchased almonds. But food stamps supply only a fraction of her nutritional needs, so foraging opportunities are welcome. Prior to the Great Recession, Atkins owned and ran a successful plant nursery in Moab, Utah, as its peak. It was grossing $300,000 a year. She had never before had unemployed. She was never unemployed. She's worked for 40 years through 3 major recessions. You can read the rest of the article here. What would you do if you were in a similar situation? Sadly, many more Americans will end up just like her. As I wrote Michael Schneider about the other day, the U.S. economy is not going to be able to produce enough jobs for everyone anymore. In fact, the overall employment picture is going to keep getting worse for working Americans. Things have gotten so bad that even many very highly educated scientists cannot find jobs in America. Right now, almost everybody is hurting. Excuse me. And we haven't even gotten to the next wave of the economic collapse yet. The next time that there is a major spike in the unemployment rate, millions of Americans will lose all hope and will become very depressed. No, it's desperate. I don't know. And depressed people do depressed things, and the rot and decay that we are witnessing right now is just the beginning. Things are going to get a lot worse. So let us hope for the best, and let us also prepare for the worst. And that is my time, and I would like to say that you can follow me on Facebook as well as Vimeo and YouTube. You can subscribe to this video, and as well as look for the websites of Close to Modern, which you just heard of Bargain with the World, with their website, closetomodernmusic.com, and in their Facebook page, and I will post the links below. And you can also follow this Infowars.com article. Actually, it's a the economic collapse .com. It's the economic collapse blog.com by Michael Schneider. So remember, united we stand and divided we fall, and God bless America.